couple of weeks in Broken Bay, and the weather's looking good today for the 3-hour trip down to Sydney. So Australia Day's next Saturday, and we're going to pick some friends up from Rose Bay and go out, and I think we'll enjoy Australia Day. A lot of boats around. I guess it's going to be a nice day, so I think it'll be crowded. But yeah, we'll have a look at that, and after that we'll start making our way back north again. It's been a good stop over here in Broken Bay. Caught up with some friends we haven't seen for a long while, and had a really great time. So back out to sea and down to Sydney. Beautiful Sydney, shrouded in smog. Well, we'll explore the big populace in Australia for a little while.
Hello, Sydney. We managed to pick up a public mooring in Rose Bay. The next morning we head ashore to explore the town. There's a good beach to land the dinghy on. A close by tap will be great for keeping our water tanks topped up. There's a service station, so fuel for the dinghy is covered. But the main requirement is a coffee shop. Time for a cappuccino while we wait for the laundry. The next morning, we're off to explore the harbor. All the icons of Sydney, the Manly ferries, the Harbour Bridge, and the Opera House. The Harbour Bridge is spectacular, but we head further up into Black Wattle Bay and under the Anzac Bridge, which is quite impressive. we find a place to anchor where we can enjoy the festivities and the fireworks. After a week in Sydney, far too short a stay, it's time to head north again. The bridge is opened at Swansea, allowing us to pass into Lake Maquarie. We motor across the lake to the jetty at Toronto.
We're just discussing that all the video we show, it's all very pleasant and fun. But there's a lot of video we don't get. This afternoon the wind got up a bit stronger than what was forecast, and there were waves breaking under the jetty, and old Peggy-Anne was riding up and down against it, and we made a pretty quick decision that we were going to leave and come and find somewhere out of the wind, which we've done. So the wind has been chasing us around, but unfortunately when you're worried about your boat being bashed against the jetty or pushed up on the rocks, you don't tend to get the camera out and video it. So anyway, we were going to sit down, go up to the club and have a meal tonight. We're going to cook for ourselves again, which is pretty good anyway. Nice sunset coming up and we're out of the wind here. Couple of jobs in the engine room. We've just been running the gen set and it's shut down with an overheat warning, so I think the water pump impeller's gone on the gen set, so I'm going to go down and replace that. And then I'm going to put some bigger hose clamps on our heat exchangers as well. Okay, so this is the raw water pump for the genset, and the impeller housing there. That's where the impeller is located. So I'm going to have to take that plate off and see what the impeller looks like for a start. It's either the sea strainer's blocked, which it could be a bit of seagrass in the lake, or the impeller's gone. The impeller actually looks all right. I'd say there's nothing wrong with that. So I'll put that back together and then we'll have to check the raw water strainer. Here's our problem. The sea strainer, just full of seagrass. So that'll have to be taken out and be cleaned. The lake is very weedy, so I guess this is something, if you're going to spend a bit of time in here, you might want to clean your sea strainers out regularly and get all of that seagrass out of it, because it's blocked it up. Okay, all back on. Last thing to do, and don't forget it, turn your raw water back on, turn your seacock back on. Otherwise you will burn that impeller out and that pump for sure. That should be good. Lake Maquarie is a great spot, but I have noticed there's a lot of seagrass around on the bottom and a lot floating around as well. And it's just been pulled up into our sea strainers and blocked them up. So if you're going to spend a bit of time around here, it's probably a good idea to check your sea strainers once a week, and you shouldn't have any drama. The other job I've got down in the engine room, down on my heat exchangers, you can see these hose clamps that hold them all together, and I've had a bit of trouble with these rubber boots blowing off. Mainly, the main problem I had was the thermostat was blocked and the engine was overheating a bit and blowing them off under pressure. But what I'm going to do is put these bigger hose clamps and replace that one, and that should put a lot more pressure on them and stop them from blowing off. So that's my next little job down here. Unfortunately, to do it, I've got to drain all the coolant out of my coolant tank, so I'll have to get that out first down to a level, and then I can work on these hose clamps.